Hey everyone, I'm Natasha and I'm super excited to have you here with me today where I'm going to share some tips and tricks for making your own grippy socks. So I'm making some baby socks for my 9-month-old who is cruising like crazy, but you can use this on adult socks too to make slipper socks or yoga socks. The process is the same. So this is one of those projects that is not quite as simple as it seems, which is why I'm going to give you some tips to help you avoid frustration and have socks that you like. So of course you are going to need some socks. I always suggest pre-washing things before decorating or wearing them. You'll need some puffy fabric paint, not just regular fabric paint. And this is one of the awesome tips that'll help you out. You need some spatulas or large plastic spoons, or cut out a form out of a piece of plastic packaging or cardboard, something that's going to be rigid and that you could insert in your sock to help hold the sole of the sock flat. So to get started, go ahead and put your socks on your spatulas or whatever else you're using. I don't really recommend using wood just in case any of this seeps through. It could damage your spoon, but if that's what you have, you can always go ahead and give it a try. So, a lot of times you see people just putting a line of paint across the bottom of the sock, but I don't really recommend doing that because the sock is stretchy. This fabric paint is not stretchy, so if you just go putting lines across, that paint is going to eventually split and start to peel off, and then it's kind of like a wasted effort, right? And especially if you're making these for your baby or toddler, you're a busy parent, you don't have time to waste time, so you want to get it right the first time, and this will really help you out. These spatulas and also some tips on how to make your design. So fabric paint, puff paint, is surprisingly difficult to work with sometimes. So go ahead and practice on something. I'm using a bin lid. You can just wipe it up while it's still wet so you don't have puff paint permanently on your bin lid. Something I like to do are stars. Now I'm going to be demonstrating with kind of larger stars than you might want to put on your socks if they're for babies, because that way you can see the design better. But feel free to make the design a little smaller if you'd like. I like to clean up the tip there with a paper towel. I'm gonna turn the bin lid and begin by just making a line. Then you're gonna wanna make an X, but instead of just sending paint out the whole time, ease up as you reach that midline and then come back over like that, see? Same thing here. Ease up as you reach the midline. And then again. Otherwise you end up with this huge clot of paint in the middle. Also, don't be afraid to change the direction. Like here, if I've done that and I think I'm gonna mess up, just rotate your project. I think sometimes we just get really stuck thinking of our project whatever angle we started working. But you don't have to do that. Go ahead and rotate things. Oh, I let too much paint out. Go ahead and rotate things so you can brace your hand and paint so you're not going to be dragging around through things, and so that you feel most comfortable. So after you've practiced a little bit, you're ready to take it over to your socks. I'm sure yours will look better than my demos, because I actually really like to work like super close up for them to look good, but then all you'd see is the back of my head, so that's not very useful. So I'm gonna start up here on the toe. Make sure to squeeze your paint gently so you don't end up with a huge splat of paint. And again, don't be afraid to rotate your project as needed. There you go. First star. I'm going to move on over and make another one. your stars will definitely look better than mine because my girl is getting 2 teeth right now, which means I didn't sleep very well last night, which means I've had way too much coffee. So, there we go. All right, first row complete. Now, I really recommend, especially if your stars are more spaced out, don't just go directly below and start making another line. Try to stagger them a little bit. So, come in this junction here to start your next row. Now, as you can see, I've done just dots on the heel because the heel is an area that's going to see a whole lot of stretch, and you don't want the lines, even of the stars, to break apart on you. So there you have it. There's the first sock. Like I said, I'm sure yours is going to look a lot better than mine just because it's hard to do things while filming them. So you do want to keep it on the spatula for the drying time as directed on your paint. For this, it says dry flat 4 hours. So go ahead and let that dry. Move on over to your next one, and then I'll see you again in a second with the finished socks. Alright, so it's been about 4 hours. My paint is dry and the socks are ready to take off the spatulas. But I wanted to show you a couple of things. As you may be able to tell, these dots here have really decreased in size. And the stars that looked like, whoa, so much paint, are now just about right. They have the right amount of puff, the right amount of grip. I noticed as it was drying and sinking into the fabric that the couple where the paint was pretty sparse barely have any grip, but I decided not to touch them up because I wanted to be able to show you the difference. There's a great contrast here. I hope you can see on the video. This one is barely up at all because of the small amount of paint, whereas this one here has just the right amount of stick and the right amount of puff to it to really be helpful. So I am actually going to touch those up before I take them off the spatulas and hand them over to my baby. But I really hope that you enjoyed this tutorial. Whether you're using these socks for your kids or for yourself, please make sure to like if you enjoyed, leave a comment, let me know if you have any questions. And if you like craft tutorials, then please stop by my blog, The Artisan Life. It's at natashalh.com. There's a link in the description below. I make weekly craft tutorials and I have a great mix of crafts for adults, printables and crafts for kids, some really inexpensive DIY toy ideas, a wide variety of things. So really something for everyone. So thanks again for watching, and I really look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye!